Is Black Mage actually ruined or something more? Hey, what's going on guys, SnivyPootis here and welcome back to another video. So 7.2 drops tomorrow and Square finally decided to be nice to us and release the patch notes fully for 7.2. But this video isn't a patch notes summary video. Nah, this is something way more interesting. Let's just jump down to the battle system updates and check out the job changes. And nestled right there in between it all, you see a fairly massive change to Black Mage's core job design. Let's read them all out, shall we? Before we dive in though, make sure to show some love to that like and subscribe button for me pretty please. So just by this chunky ass screenshot, I think it's safe to assume that Black Mage got the most changes to this patch by a country mile, but to read it all out, Fire and Blizzard 1 and 4 got their total cast times cut to 2 seconds from 2.5, and both Fire and Blizzard 4 getting a potency cut from 320 to 300 in the process. Freeze goes from 2.8 cast time to 2 seconds, Flare gets a cast time cut from 3 to 2 seconds, Leyline gets a duration cut from 30 seconds to 20 seconds, Xenoglossing gets a potency bump from 880 to 890, Firestarter and Thunderhead both now last until you use them, Paradox goes from 520 to 540, Flare Star goes from 400 to 500 potency with, of course, a cast time reduction from 32 seconds. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, but Snivy, these changes don't sound all that bad. What's the big change? Well, first of all, rude, don't interrupt me, but here are the actual big changes most people are up in arms about. Actual Fire and Umbral Ice timers? Gone. Completely obliterated. I can't speak. So, no more refreshing your Fire with Paradox or Firestarter. No more worrying about your Fire expiring because you have to move a lot. Nada. And of course, to compensate for all these other changes, Enochian has been brought down again from 32% down all the way to 27%. Now I know that just from all that alone, some of y'all might be getting your pitchforks and torches ready, but consider the following.
Please consider the following.
Calm down, it's not that deep. Now granted, does this soft rework basically completely change Black Mage's core rotation design that it's had basically since the game start back in ARR? Absolutely. But given how things are, it most likely won't result in a direct damage loss. Granted, I'm absolutely not smart enough to write out all the numbers, but I don't think you'll be having to pick up the paintbrush just yet. Which, we'll also get into that later, as Peso got some nerfs and buffs too. The only thing that'll feel off is the jaw's feel. Quicker cast, no more dropping your fire due to not paying attention, stuff like that. So, not so much your overall damage output. Regardless, before you write that strongly worded email to Yoshi P, take a deep breath, relax, and at least wait until you've given it a day or two to see if you like it. Who knows? Maybe you'll like it even more than old Black Mage.
No.
Now moving on to those aforementioned Picto nerfs. Don't get too excited, summoners and red mages in chat. You're not catching up quite yet, but in terms of ultimates, Picto is going to be a lot less effective, at least from what I can see. To summarize what they did, as looking at it now, even in patch notes, Picto has Black Mage beat with how goddamn long it is. They reduced the potency of all their muses and big 1 minute and 2 minute burst options by 300 from its original. So Star Prism is 1100 instead of 1400, while the Aegis is 1000 instead of 1300, and all muses do 800 instead of 1100. And instead they redistributed that damage, again, can't speak, into the filler combos and the filler spells, and Comet in black and Holy in white as well. I'll blast through the numbers here in case you're curious, but Fire in red is 520 instead of 440, Arrow in green is 560 instead of 480, Water in blue is 600 instead of 520, Blizzard in cyan is 900 instead of 800, Stone in yellow is 940 instead of 840, Thunder in magenta is 980 instead of 880, Holy goes from 520 to 600, Comet goes from 880 to 980. Also, I almost forgot to mention that they nerfed the Hammer 1-2-3 combo potencies as well. So Hammer 1 is 480 instead of 560, Hammer 2 is 520 instead of 620, Hammer 3 is 560 instead of 680, and I know they have actual names, but I can't be bothered to remember the names in order they go, so just bear with me here. As always, let me know what you guys thought of the Black Mage rework and Picto changes. Do you think Picto got tuned down properly, or not enough? Are you already quitting Black Mage after hearing about the changes, or are you going to give it a shot? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I always like to hear what you guys think. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe the video, and if you're new, also, and if you want to dislike it, that works too, whichever fits the mood. Peace out.